I'm Jack Kelly and I'm a Senior Technical Consultant at National Grid ESO. I used to work at Google DeepMind before working at National Grid, and I loved working there, loved the team, but in this role at National Grid I feel that I get to work on the sharp edge where the code that I write one day can the next day be going to actually help the grid to reduce emissions. What difference do you hope to make within the energy industry in your role at National Grid? A bunch of the challenges that National Grid face today can hopefully be fixed with better software, better data, better predictions of the future. And so as a computer programmer and a machine learning researcher, I hope to help National Grid to solve some of these problems and hence reduce emissions. What inspires you to work in the energy industry? A couple of things that inspired me, I guess. So one is that I'm terrified by climate change, and so I want to do all that I can to try and reduce emissions. And also I'm a bit of a geek and have been since I was a kid, so it felt natural to try and use my knowledge of computing and electronics and geekery to try and help the grid to reduce emissions as quickly as possible. What would you say has been your proudest moment in life? So unoriginal but true, but definitely the birth of my two young children. I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. We like to build stuff together in my slightly strange attempt to try and get them excited about engineering. And recently we built a whacking machine out of Lego, and they like whacking each other with that, which is lots of fun. I promise it doesn't hurt them. What would be your dream job? So it's slightly cheesy to say, but I think I am working at my dream job where I feel like every day I do get to actually have an impact on reducing carbon emissions, and that's a great feeling.
Hi, I'm Kirsten McDermott and I'm a Senior Welding Engineer at National Grid, and my main responsibility is making sure that all of our pipelines remain stuck together properly to carry our high pressure gas. What are your hopes for the future? I hope that we don't have to brand people as a female engineer and we're just engineers and it's finding the best person for the job. What advice would you give to someone considering the energy industry as a career that would help tackle climate change? I think if anybody's actually considering it, then just go for it, because even if you don't think you've got a skill set that might actually be relevant to what it is, you'll quickly find that there's so many transferable skills that can actually make you a really good engineer. Do you love your job? Yes, that's a really easy one. I love the variety of it. I can work out on site, I can really relate to everything that I'm doing in the office. I go out and I see it come to life, and that's such a proud thing to be able to see. So what difference do you hope to make within the energy industry in your role at National Grid? So I actually think it's quite important, me being in this role, to encourage more people to come and join us, because it's such an exciting time for the energy industry, and it doesn't matter what your background is, where you're from, what your interests are, there will be a role for you that can help shape the future energy landscape.
I'm Rainey. I work at National Grid. I currently head up our smart metering business as part of National Grid Ventures. I was one of the first people in the UK to do a postgraduate degree in carbon management at Edinburgh. You know, things have moved on quite a long way since then. It's been amazing to be part of the sector for those years. Net zero is about reducing our carbon emissions in the UK to a level that prevents damaging climate change. So this really is one of the biggest challenges facing policymakers and businesses over the next 10 years and over the decades to come. What advice would you give to someone considering the energy industry as a career that would help tackle climate change? So within the energy sector there are so many different businesses, so go out and speak to people and make the most of discovering what areas you're really interested in and then target that. I don't think I could work for a business that wasn't committed to net zero. I've started my career within the renewable energy sector, and that was after doing a master's in climate change. So for me, it's a core purpose in my career. What would be your dream job? So I guess if you'd asked me that as a child, I would have said a pilot, so quite different to what I do today. For me, my dream job in the future Well, that's really around leading a renewable energy business. I love the sector, and so for me it's about going out, doing more, working with more people, and hopefully working internationally as well. Yeah, I really love my job. I think I've been really lucky to work within the renewables sector, to work on decarbonisation, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the years to come.
I'm Lucy Manning, I'm Commercial Advisor at Grain LNG, which is the liquefied natural gas terminal. I've worked in the wholesale gas industry for 5 years before joining National Grid. What inspired you to work in the energy industry? It's a really interesting time to be working in energy because as society tries to decarbonise, we're finding new and better ways of doing things, and that creates lots of great jobs and great career paths. Working at National Grid has been great for me. I have hidden disability and my manager's always been really supportive of a good work-life balance, and flexible working supports that. What difference do you hope to make within the energy industry in your role at National Grid? Gas plays an important role currently. 80% of homes are heated by gas, and we use a lot in business and industry, and we use it for electricity generation. So it's important to find new and innovative ways of making gas greener and more efficient. What would you say has been your proudest moment in life? As well as working at National Grid, I'm also studying part-time for a PhD in philosophy, and this year one of my articles is going to be published in a book. I really love my job, I feel really enthusiastic about it, and it's great to see the difference that I can make.
I'm Miriam Oliver. I'm a substation engineer at National Grid. I grew up, wanted to be an engineer. I was told I couldn't, but I did anyway, and I love it. But alongside that, I'm also a mum of 3 girls. Can you believe that? Now, shall we have a look at the questions? How important is it for you to be working in a business that has such a strong focus on net zero? To work for a company that says we want to reduce our CO2 levels, we want to reduce our impacts on the environment, we want to make sure that people around us are growing just as we are, and it's not just about take from society. That ticks all my boxes for me. I'm really happy about that. My mum and dad inspire me. They decided what they wanted to do and they achieved it. Yes, they got knocked back sometimes, pressures from family or pressures from society, but they managed to achieve whatever. And they also knew that education was the way forward, and they said to me, you can do everything you want to do with education. And they really focused on that on me. And so my being here at National Grid, working as a substation engineer, tells other people that you don't have to look a particular way, you don't have to be a particular type of person in order to work in this industry. What would be my dream job? It's not very far away from this actually. It's being able to influence those decisions that make sure that we are doing the best, not just for our business today, but the best for our business tomorrow. And not best for the society today, but our society forever. Do I love my job? Yes, I love my job. I've been working National Grid for about 12 years now, and I've moved so many times within National Grid. And currently I'm working operations in the substations, and every day is a learning day, and the people are great. So yes, I love my job.
I'm Rodney Williams, I'm a lead project manager for National Grid. In my job, I've got to make sure that my team help to build some of National Grid's infrastructure, and we make sure that we do this to time, cost, quality, and we do it safely as well. How important is it for you to be working in a business that has such a strong focus on net zero? For me, I think it's really important, and I think the businesses to make sure that what they do is sustainable and that we're not sort of jeopardising our children's futures. So knowing that National Grid is very keen to focus on net zero is really good, and it motivates me to do what I do and work for the company. Tell us something about yourself that people would be surprised at. I absolutely love films. I'm a film addict. Every weekend I am watching some sort of film. So I really like horror films. What would you say has been your proudest moment in life? Well, for 2 years on the trot, I've been featured as a top 50 ethnic minority future leader on the list that's featured in the Times. So that's been a massive achievement for me. It's been great to get recognition for all the sort of things that I do inside and outside of work. What advice would you give someone considering the energy industry as a career? Climate change is a really hot topic nowadays. We've got a lot of data out there that shows that the world is changing and the climate is changing, and we need to do something about it. The advice that I'd give them is roll up your sleeves and sort of get ready to work. You can be part of a really positive change. Get involved and help save the world.
I'm Sarah Woolley, a graduate construction engineer. I joined National Grid following my dissertation project with the system operator. That project made me realise how exciting National Grid is and how important our role is within the energy industry. What is net zero? To me, net zero is taking out less than we put in, so that could be in terms of carbon, or we can achieve a reduction of our impacts through offsetting, but that's what it means to me. What are your hopes for the future? I'd like to learn more about the energy industry and the changes that are taking place within the market. I guess something I would be surprised by is I'm training to become a yoga teacher. Sometimes that still surprises me. What inspired you to work in the energy industry? So I always wanted to work in the energy industry. I think what led me to National Grid though was doing my dissertation project with the system operator, and from that project I realised how important it is that we manage the network minute by minute, and from there I was just hooked on National Grid. I do love my job, so I don't feel like I come to work. I jump on my bike, get into the office, and everything just kind of merges into one, and I think that's when you know that you really enjoy your job.